A Washington County fourth-generation farmer and agriculture teacher is being honored as the winner of the National Discussion Competition. Abby Campbell recently won the 2025 American Farm Bureau Discussion Meet. It was part of the 106th American Farm Bureau Annual Convention in San Antonio, Texas. Our Peyton Brooker talked with her and has the story.
Abby Campbell has been an agricultural teacher at Frye High School since 2019. She won the American Farm Bureau Discussion Meet at the American Farm Bureau Annual Convention. The competition involved 4 rounds and 4 competitors in San Antonio, Texas.
I started with the first round in Ohio in December of 2023 and then was able to compete in our state competition, which was January of 2024. And at that point I knew that I would be headed to San Antonio this past month. And so in San Antonio there are competitors from across the United States.
Campbell won a $35,000 credit to use towards a new Ford vehicle. She'll also attend the Fusion Conference in Colorado in March. Campbell says the experience helped her focus on her goals as an educator.
I feel from my own agricultural education and FFA experience, I participated in extemporaneous public speaking, parliamentary procedure, and these contests really laid the foundation, one, for me want to be a teacher myself, but also to encourage my students to participate in those same contests.
Her students say she inspires them to achieve their own goals.
Miss Campbell does things a lot out of the box sometimes. She makes things fun, so things that we wouldn't typically learn about in a normal classroom. We do a lot of hands-on work and a lot of things that you wouldn't expect coming into the school day, whether it be woodworking projects, welding, or just learning how to do public speaking.
This competition was very interesting because not only did I get to watch one of the teachers that I'm very inspired by win it, but also it encourages me to motivate myself and to continue to do competitions such as this or public speaking that might also benefit myself, as I have seen Mrs. Campbell achieve many high things.
I didn't realize all the things I was capable of, and she really helped me believe in myself. Miss Campbell has just made a true impact on my life and decisions that I have in the future.
Campbell says she wants to see her own students participate in similar competitions.
One of my main motivations for competing in the first place was my students. I always try to encourage them to try something new or maybe do a contest that they might be scared to kind of put themselves out there. And so I challenged myself to do the same thing. I put myself out there in a contest and wanted to see what I could do. And so now I can really relate to my students when they say that they're scared to go to a public speaking event because I understand exactly how they feel.
This is Peyton Brooker in Beverly, WTAP News. This is home.